Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. We're going to start off. I want you to look above. This is where this photo came from because apparently I'm having trouble speaking, but you can see the photo. And here it is, the Evil Eye Galaxy. Wow, I gotta be honest, freaking gorgeous. All right, we have a lot to cover again. We're going back to the UN thing and what happened. We're also, Charles and Camilla, we're gonna talk about them. They're still on their tour. And we're gonna look at some of the responses that I got from my video yesterday. You guys were extremely vocal. So let's jump in and get going, shall we? Let's go. Well, we're going to start off as far as photos go with these pictures that were taken in the Buckingham Palace gift shop and sent to me by one of my followers. I was told that they have fabulous books too, but I think my favorite thing would be the last photo. I do believe, and I could be wrong, but that is our famous Scotsman, right? There's the kilt. I believe that's Johnny. I'm just going to think it's Johnny. And when I get there, I'm going to buy one of these. All right, let's jump in and get going. To start off with, you guys caught some things and made some comments about this check that I showed you yesterday. Multiple of you noticed that the 500 doesn't say 500 decimal point 00. And you are absolutely right. I missed that. That's just another thing that shows it's a forgery. Nobody writes a cashier's check with just 500 on it without the decimal point. Somebody else pointed out that sometimes they use blue ink. I have never, ever seen a bank use blue ink. This follower pointed out that cashier's checks are drawn on the bank against cleared funds, which is true, and they usually don't have the name of the original client's account on them. That is also absolutely true. They're cashier's checks. They don't have the client's information on them. They simply have the name of the person that it's written to. Spot on. I totally missed that as well. And this next one is absolutely a good point. If she sent the check, why does she still have it? That's not a copy. The copies aren't in color. They're like carbon copies. So why does she still have it? Or why take a picture of it? It's just odd. Moving on, I showed you guys this picture of Harry yesterday, and one of the comments really stuck out in my head. This particular follower pointed out that this is a man who just realized the extent of the mistake he made in marrying Markle. Good point. And finally, remember we talked about the letter that Meghan said she got from Clinton, and this follower said if Clinton sent her a letter, it would be in her resume. I do believe you are correct. Now, this follower pointed out that the timeline might not be right because Meghan was born in 1977 and the letter would have been sent in 1988. Very good point. The reason 1988 is so important for Hillary Clinton is for this reason, okay? She was the wife of Bill Clinton, who was governor of Arkansas from 1983 to 1992. So since Meghan didn't live in Arkansas, why would Hillary write to her? Then in 1993 to 2001, she was the First Lady of the United States. Then in 2001 to 2009, she was a senator. Then she became Secretary of State in 2009 to 2013. But the point is, she was the First Lady of another state in 1988. That's why the story makes no sense. I agree. Moving on, somebody had something again to say about my hair. Penny said, just leave it alone. Penny, I absolutely intend on leaving it alone. I'm not going back to that whole dyeing thing every 6 weeks. What a pain. And I also want to say thank you to Indy117, who pointed out that on the live, I did not engage in any demeaning behavior of Taz, who was unrepresented on that live stream. I was not engaging in the drama. And when the person on the live stream started talking about Taz, I pointed out that Taz had given me a shout out and it helped me in the beginning. And also I said very directly that I liked her stuff. I don't knock people down. I always lift others up. I don't try to be divisive. And no, I'm not jealous of others' success, but I am supportive of their achievements. And it means a lot to me that somebody actually noticed that. I also want people to know, because I've had a couple of people write some kind of nasty comments on my wall saying that I didn't defend Taz and all this kind of stuff on a live stream, no less. I want you to know I've spoken with Taz. She and I have no issues. So your pot stirring troublemaking isn't working. So again, no drama, people. I don't do drama. If you want drama, go somewhere else. All right, let's go back to Charles and Camilla. We know they're on that tour of Cornwall. Well, yesterday, Charles went to a copper works at the harbor, and he used a magnifying glass to look at fine engraving. Looks like he had a great time. After that, Charles and Camilla went to a garden party, and I hope I'm saying this right, at Beaucarnock House. And the garden party was to mark the 70th anniversary of the Duke of Cornwall being head of the Duchy of Cornwall in England. Very nice. Looks like they had a lot of fun. I love the cake. It's for the Platinum Jubilee, as you can see. And they always cut with a sword. All right, moving on. Next up now, it's the second day of their tour. They're visiting Devon and Cornwall. They're in an ancient market. I don't know if I'm going to say this correctly, but it's Launceston. Right. This is the place where Charles was proclaimed the Duke of Cornwall in 1973. And even though it was raining, they went around and met everybody. Here's some video to show you. We're going to go back and talk about the UN thing again, because again, if Harry and Meghan really embodied the ideals of Nelson Mandela, they would volunteer for 67 minutes. They would go visit a hospital. They would feed the homeless. Instead, they paraded around in New York, again, all day long in overpriced clothing. There was almost no one there. Of course, everybody knew Harry was speaking. I think people thought that that would be a draw, but it wasn't. People just aren't interested in them anymore, and they're woke crap. And what shocks me is that I think they don't realize it. I think Harry's realizing it now after what happened yesterday. Harry even got called by the wrong name. Listen to this.
It's simple. Each individual, and as it has been just said by Prince Duke of Wessex, every day.
People are absolutely ripping his speech to shreds. It was preachy. He waded into American politics. He's not an American citizen. He doesn't represent the UK. People are wondering what the heck he was doing there. He had no right to be there, and nobody really wanted to hear what he said. You guys have to know it was inevitable that Piers Morgan was going to jump in there, and he actually spoke with Mandela's grandson. Here's what he had to say.
Approval called Finding Freedom. Meghan and Harry had a book written about them with their sort of tacit approval called Finding Freedom. And obviously your grandfather was The Long Walk to Freedom. Do you see any obvious parallels between their battles for freedom?
Of course not. There are no parallels at all. Those are definitely two worlds apart.
But you can see, yeah, I mean, to put it mildly, I mean, your grandfather spent 27 years in a 6x6 prison cell. It's a rather different struggle, some might argue, than the struggle that Harry and Meghan have had to leave a palace and go and live in a mansion.
Definitely two worlds apart. They cannot be compared on any level.
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow. You know, in the end, this day was not even about Harry. I have to say I agree with this comment from above. Harry turned what should have been a speech about Mandela into a lecture to the world about the state of politics in the United States, where he has no business talking about, while making sure that he and Diana and his wife were recognized on somebody else's day to be recognized. And when I say the day wasn't about him, I don't mean Nelson Mandela. I mean Meghan Markle. Why was she there? This was supposed to be Harry's thing. And Meghan showed up. So, as I showed you yesterday, the headlines were all talking about Meghan, not Harry. Once again, the focus was on her clothing, which once again was ridiculously expensive. She was carrying a $1,500 purse that, by the way, is made in China. I wonder if she's asked those people if they're okay. She was wearing a ridiculously expensive outfit. She was wearing expensive shoes. She still had on hundreds of thousands of dollars in jewelry. Nothing's changed with her. And she paraded in front of Harry into the chamber. She's wearing $725 shoes. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Thank you to Remoulade Sauce, by the way, for the above photo. So what was the next thing that happened? The ambassador went to meet Harry and Meghan. But here's what I've noticed. The picture that was released is the ambassador shaking Meghan's hand while Harry stands to the back fiddling with his clothes once again, looking completely out of place like he's not even supposed to be there. Then the group took a photo together and Meghan made a point of standing right in front of Harry. Thank God he's so much taller than her, or he would have been completely blocked in the photo, making sure that she's in the forefront, not him. Now, let's move on to what went on in the chamber because the videos came out and they were absolutely shocking. Harry, in every photo, like the one you see above, looks so upset and depressed. I really worried about his mental state. So Harry's sitting there waiting to give his speech. He gets up to do the speech. We've all heard it. And one of the first things he talks about is how Meghan was his soulmate and he knew it. Listen to this.
It's where I felt closest to my mother and sought solace after she died, and where I knew I had found a soulmate in my wife.
Well, people could spot it from a mile away. Meghan wrote that speech. It's pretty obvious. Harry's voice, Meghan's words. I'm wondering the last time Harry wrote a speech on his own, because it's very obvious from the things he's saying this is all about her. She wrote the speech. Again, why is she there? This is supposed to be Harry's deal. Now, it's pretty obvious from the pictures that I'm about to show you that this marriage is in serious trouble. And the whole lovey-dovey, fake, dewy-eyed thing is going down the drain fairly quickly. Let me explain to you what you're going to see in this first clip. Harry is holding Meghan's hand. He lets go. She leans over, grabs his hand, locks her arm around it so he can't take it away, and almost immediately he begins fidgeting with his clothes, which I've told you guys before he does when he's extremely nervous. And then you see the face, okay? Watch this. Here it is a little bit closer up. Watch this. And one more time, even closer. And for those who don't recognize that face, that's the same face he made at the Cirque du Soleil the night that they went after Meghan told Harry she was going to kill herself. Moving along, next, I think she realizes that she probably shouldn't hold his hand because he's getting extremely aggravated. So she decides to settle for just putting her arm on his arm and rubbing his arm. Watch this. Next up, Harry comes back to his seat from giving his speech and he's shaking hands and Meghan's shaking hands, and he leans over to talk to the guy next to him. And as is typical, Meghan cannot allow him to not have her as the complete center of attention. So what does she do? She starts rubbing his shoulder. Look, I'm over here, I'm over here, I'm over here. And at the end, he decides, I'm going to give her my hand, because if he doesn't, he's not going to be allowed to continue the conversations that are going on with these gentlemen. He literally was like, here's my hand. Now leave me alone for 5 minutes. What? Just watch. So she's got the fake smile plastered to her face, and he's just looking at her like, lady, you're crazy. I really think that's what he's thinking. Anyway, she's ready to leave. So she stands up. You know how that is. When she's ready to go, she goes, and then he follows behind like a puppy. And as you'll hear, they weren't even done with all the presentations. They left in the middle. Watch this.
Of millions around the world. The destructive impact of the pandemic has exposed existing...
Now, the word out is that Kensington Palace was braced for, they weren't sure what was going to happen today. They figured it would be embarrassing, who knows. But once they saw the photos of Harry, they're actually concerned for his mental health and his well-being, because not only does he look bad in these photos, but people are commenting on the fact that he's not grooming himself, and that is a definite sign of depression. Not long after, the UN removed Harry's speech video. Now, I think they removed it because Netflix wants it for content. I can't imagine how they're going to use that. He looked mad the whole time. The room was empty. People are criticizing his speech. Like, what exactly are they going to use it for? I just can't imagine. Let me just tell you that a lot of people felt, again, that they shouldn't have been there. I love this protester. She put up a picture that says, Mandela spent 27 years behind bars in South Africa, and Markle spent 18 months in castles and complained on TV during a pandemic. Why are they here? Spot the heck on. So when they were done, Meghan deposited Harry back at the hotel by himself, because I think Harry needed a break from her. And she met up with Gloria Steinem at a hotel for some lunch. Poor Gloria Steinem, who's 88 years old, has no idea the way she's being used. And the way Meghan escorted her to the car, there's this picture. That's not the way you help an 88-year-old walk to a car. She literally was dragging this poor woman. I feel so bad for Gloria. Now, once she was done with lunch with Gloria, she waved goodbye, went back to the hotel, and picked up Harry. It was at this time that it became very obvious that she was copycatting Catherine, if you can imagine that. We all know that Catherine wore this absolutely freaking gorgeous outfit to the Top Gun premiere with Tom Cruise and William. And the next thing you know, here comes Meghan in almost an identical outfit, although much cheaper. Now, everybody wonders how she always sees the camera. Here's a little clip of them leaving the dinner. Watch this.
Security. We need a shot. We need a shot. Thank you so much. Meghan, over the shoulder. Thank you, sir.
So a couple of things, if you're paying attention. Meghan looked right. Meghan looked left. Meghan's looking all over. She's smiling. She's making sure that, that the photo people capture her gorgeous smile and how happy she and Harry are. So once again, we get to see that she's wearing ridiculous, expensive clothing. You can see here the shoes are like $750. And look at this photo. I wouldn't pay $750 for shoes that don't fit me and my toes are sliding out the end. Who spends that kind of money? No matter how you look at it, there's absolutely no comparison to the way Catherine wore this outfit. And I can't wait to hear what the Sugars have to say about the fact that Meghan totally copycatted Catherine's outfit. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, they're always claiming, no matter what, that it's William and Catherine copycatting Meghan and Harry, but there's no getting around this one. All right, one more thing. I had to show you guys this picture. I've shown you guys before that Meghan likes to change her color. Like when she was at the polo match, she was as white as could be. And then when she got to Uvalde, she had been spray tanned and you could literally see the difference. And here she is again. She was absolutely white in the morning. She spray tanned. And by the evening, she was black again. Yep. All right, it's Finn update time. And since you've already seen my face on the live, I figured it was okay to show it just this one time. So I got into bed and this time I grabbed Finn and flipped him. So we were snuggling. Watch this. Are we sleeping? We snuggled up in bed sleeping. He's a couple away. I love him. All righty, people. So I want your comments. What do you think about everything I've shown you? There's so much. But, you know, the grabbing and the holding and the rubbing and the give me your hand, give me your hand. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that there's definite cracks in the marriage, definite. You can't keep that, I've told you guys before in other videos, you can't keep that kind of dewy-eyed, we're so madly in love thing going on. And I think Harry's stuck. He has 2 kids with her, and I think he's stuck, and I think he doesn't know what to do. So anyway, leave your comments below. Don't forget to double check the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, great. And just double check you're still subscribed. If not, go ahead and hit that button. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, on Getter, on Rumble. You can email me. For those of you who have donated through my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.